Baby, I want to tell you something so personal, something that comes straight from the heart. The night I spoke of you to my father is one I'll remember forever. I don't think you fully understand how long I've waited for the right moment to say this out loud. It wasn't easy for me to bring it up, not because I had any doubts about us, but because my father, well, he's not someone who easily shares his feelings or his thoughts on relationships. He's the strong, quiet type. Few words, but strong opinions. Talking to him about you, about us, was a big step. But it was something I had to do. Last night, just the two of us. I sat down with him. No distractions, no phones, no TV. Just a quiet, intimate moment between father and son. He was sipping his usual tea, reading his newspapers, acting as if everything was just as it always was. For a brief second, I questioned myself. I thought, maybe it wasn't the right time. But then I thought of you. I thought of that smile you get when you're holding back laughter, the way your eyes shine when you talk about something that excites you. Suddenly, I knew I had to speak. So, I did. Dad, I'm serious about someone, I said. He didn't look up at first. He simply folded his newspaper slowly, and then, without a word, looked me straight in the eye. I didn't look away. I didn't blink. I wanted him to know I wasn't joking. I'm not one to take things lightly when it comes to matters of the heart. He paused, and then he asked me one question. Just one. Is she good to you? He asked, calm and steady. Without hesitation, I said, yes. She is everything I've hoped for. She is kind, genuine, and patient, especially when I'm not. At my best. She doesn't try to change me. She just brings out the best in me. The side of me you always said was there, but I could never quite show. There was a long pause, a moment of silence between us. Then he spoke, and it caught me, off guard. If she is the reason you're smiling more these days, he said, his voice softer than I'd expected, I want to meet her. And in that moment, I felt my heart skip a beat. I didn't realize just how much I needed his support until that exact moment. It was as though a weight I didn't even know I was carrying had been lifted. I want you to know, baby, that this wasn't just some casual conversation. I'm not playing games. I'm not hiding this love from anyone. I sat down with the man whose opinion means everything to me, and I told him all about you. And in that moment, I felt something shift. It was no longer just about me. It was about us, about the people I care about building something real. I remember the next morning, waking up with this strange mix of excitement and nerves. I don't usually plan things down to the last detail, but that day felt different. I had already spoken to him about you, but now it was time for him to meet you, to see the person who's changed me in ways I can't even explain. So, I texted you. Can you meet me today somewhere a little different? You replied right away, of course, without asking too many questions. You always do. You suggested a quiet place, nothing too fancy, just somewhere comfortable and warm. You knew exactly what I meant. A cozy spot where my family would feel at ease. A place with soft lighting and calm energy. You didn't need to impress anyone. When you walked in, wearing something simple yet glowing in a way that only you can, I knew something special was happening. My father looked up, and for a moment everything seemed to stand still. He didn't speak right away. He simply stood up, shook your hand, and gave you a nod. Not a cold one, not forced. Just his way of saying, okay, I see. This is important. To him. You smiled a little nervously, but still polite. Still you. Then the three of us sat down. There was a moment of silence. You know, the kind of silence that usually feels uncomfortable? Well, with you there, it didn't feel that way. It felt peaceful, almost like the silence was a shared space between us, just a calm in the middle of everything. My father asked you simple questions, things like where you grew up, what you did in your free time, nothing too personal, but enough for him to get a sense of who you were. And the way you answered was exactly how I hoped it would be. You were yourself. No pretensions, no need to impress, just honesty. And in that moment, I could see in his eyes that he respected you. Then something happened that I didn't expect. At one point, my father chuckled, just a small, genuine laugh at something you said. And that, baby, told me everything I needed to know. You see, my father doesn't laugh easily with people he doesn't know. But with you, it was natural. Later, as we walked back to the car, I grabbed your hand, holding it a little tighter than usual. You looked up at me, asking, "Was that okay?" I smiled, holding your hand just a bit more firmly. "Better than okay," I said. It was perfect. And in that moment, I knew this was becoming real. It wasn't just about me opening my heart to you. It was about me making space in my life for you. And baby, I hope you realize just how rare that is for someone like me. I don't open up easily, but with you, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. Later that night, after I dropped you off, I stayed in my car outside my father's house for a while. I didn't go inside right away. I sat there thinking about how natural it had felt to have you there with us. There were no awkward silences, no fake smiles, just honest energy. You didn't try to win anyone over, but somehow you did. You were just yourself, and that was more than enough. When I finally went inside, my father was sitting in his chair, tea in hand. He looked at me, nodded, and I sat down beside him. For a moment we just sat in silence, but I knew he was waiting for me to say something. Then he spoke, his voice quieter than usual. "You've changed." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He sipped his tea slowly, and then he said something that stuck with me. "I've seen you go through a lot. You've made mistakes, pushed people away, acted like nothing mattered. But now, you've slowed down. Something finally matters." His words hit me harder than I expected. I didn't know how to respond at first. Then he said, "When she walked in, the way she looked at you, it wasn't just love, that was belief. She believes in you, maybe even more than you believe in yourself." I felt a lump in my throat. "She does," I said quietly. "And I don't know why, but she does." My father leaned forward, his voice low and steady. "Don't make her regret it. A woman like her doesn't come twice." His words stayed with me. It wasn't the emotion or the drama that got to me. It was how he said it. I knew deep down he was right. Later that night, as I left his house, I felt something heavy on my chest, but not in a bad way. It was the kind of weight you carry with pride when someone truly matters to you. The first thing I did when I got home was text you. "I think he likes you, but not half as much as I do." You replied with a shy heart emoji and asked, "Really?" I smiled, typing out my response. "Yeah, but I'll tell you more in person." From that night on, I knew this story was no longer just mine, it was ours. As the days passed, I couldn't help but reflect on everything that had happened. It wasn't just the conversations, the words shared between father and son. It was something deeper, something unspoken that settled in the spaces between us. My father had never been one for grand declarations of love, but in his quiet way, he had given me something I hadn't expected, a form of approval, a form of trust. It was as if, in those few moments of silence, he had opened a door to something more than just the bond between him and me. He had opened a door to understanding, to accepting, to welcoming you into a part of my life that meant the most. The next time we met, it wasn't just another date. It was a step forward, a moment where everything felt a little more real, a little more grounded. I couldn't help but smile when I thought of the way you had looked at me that day. You had no idea how much your presence meant, how your calm energy had brought everything into focus. You never tried to impress anyone, and somehow, that was everything. You were simply you, and that was more than enough. We had lunch together in that little cafe we both loved, the one with the old wooden tables and the scent of fresh coffee in the air. It was nothing extravagant, just a quiet place where we could be ourselves, away from the world that often felt too loud. As we sat there, I found myself just watching you, taking in the way your hands moved when you spoke, the way your lips curved into a soft smile when you made a joke. It was in those small moments that I realized how much you had become a part of me. It wasn't something I had expected, but it was something that had come to feel inevitable. You asked me once not long after that meeting why I was so certain about us, why I was so sure that this was real, that we were real. And I couldn't quite find the right words to answer you. It wasn't just love. It was more than that. It was a sense of belonging, a feeling of home. Every laugh we shared, every moment of quiet comfort, every touch that spoke louder than words, those were the things that told me we were meant to be. I didn't need to explain it. I didn't need to convince you. You already knew. And in that silence, in those simple words we exchanged, I realized that this was what I had been waiting for.